Hello, everyone. Welcome to Winwithin, a high performance podcast. And to start with the series that is very, very close to my heart, I have a man who is a man with and who is on a pure mission. And when I say he's a man on a mission, that means his purpose, his passion is fueling every action that he takes. For most of you that already know him, but today we will dwell into the side that is a little unknown, which is his inner self. If he is a man who is so effortlessly aiming and owning up to everything that he believes in, and his voice is so powerful that is creating an impact when it comes to the sports ecosystem, it's none other than Mr. Ranjit Bajaj. Thank you so much, sir, for agreeing to do this on such a short notice. And the moment I asked you, you were like, let's just do it. And that's always been your spirit. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Vinda. It's just been a pleasure. And in fact, Winwithin has been part of my sports ecosystem now. So I could never say no.
Thank you so much, sir. So let the journey begin. So, sir, before we dive deep into it, I just want to, all of us know you as somebody who's very firm and who has absolutely no hesitation in standing up for what he believes in. I want to know, where did this come from? Have you always been like this? Has it been a part of your upbringing, or is it a skill that you have learned?
I think life's best, no matter what anyone says, I think life's best teacher is experience. And that gives you conviction. So with experience, if you're able to prove something, especially to yourself, it's basically like muscle memory for the brain. And if you actually do things in one way and things don't go right, and then you try something else and they go right, and then you try that again, it goes right again. So it cannot be a fluke 10 times. And that's what that comes with experience. And then then that becomes conviction. So you have that conviction in your mindset that, okay, fine, if I do this, I know I will get results because it's proven by my past actions. And if I do this, I will screw up because I've done it before. So no one is born perfect. You can, and I don't think anyone can actually get to perfect, but you can achieve for perfection. And again, so the whole thing stems from the fact that people try to compete. Even if they want to be world champions, they're competing with the world champions. That's not how it happens. You have to be better than what you were yesterday. And that has to be a daily process.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's very right. And I also remember listening to your Josh talk where you said, today is the first day for the rest of your life,
Exactly. Because you're born today. You're born today for the rest of your life. I mean, today is my first day. And then if I start living my life like that, that means I have not learned anything. I'm not taking what I have done or resting on my laurels. In fact, in high performance sports, it's very easy to get there. I'm talking about when I say easy, I'm talking about all the high performance athletes, the ones who are working, will get somewhere near that level. But the ones who stay there have to have the mindset. It's not about the skill level. It's not about the technique. It's all here.
Yeah. I think one of our mental strength, the most it's displayed when it comes to longevity. It's easier to just get there, like you said, but usko maintain kaise karoge, that depends on aapne kitna apne mind pe kaam kiya hai.
Exactly. And I really believe that the difference between the top level athletes is not in their game. It's in their mindset. So you can come to judge the mindset of athletes by the number of finals they played and how many they won. Because I believe whenever you go to a championship final or you get to the main D-Day, see, great athletes are the ones who win championship medals, world championship medals. The maximum pressure anywhere is in the finals. And the more you have a success rate of winning finals than losing them, that shows the caliber of your mind. Because if you're good enough to get to the final, trust me, the guy on the opposite side cannot be that much better than you.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. So there's one thing, the way you speak to your athletes, because I've known you for 1.5 years roughly when it comes to the professional aspect, and I have always been in awe with the way you communicate with your athletes, or way just like celebration before. I don't know how many of them actually know about while you guys were preparing for the finals. And just before that, when you told me that you already celebrated and got the champions t-shirt printed. And that, I think, when we talk about it from a neuroscience and mind perspective, that is so empowering. That means we have given the signal out there to our body and to the universe as well,
exactly,
that it is done.
Manifestation.
Exactly?
Oh my God.
So what's your take on the entire concept of manifestation and speaking it into existence?
I think it really works. So I don't want to put a jinx to it, but 16 national and international finals, 16 trophies.
Yeah.
And we were not the better side every single time. Never. It can never be possible that I've been, and the 16 finals mean under 13, 15, 18, senior teams, futsal teams. So it's not that I was the better team in every single match. No, I wasn't. But the belief which was put in the boys. So I don't believe you play finals, you win them. And you win them much before the final. It's your confidence and the attitude you go with. See, yes, I am not saying that you can go and do this in every place and you can go and win against Roger Federer if you're a tennis player just by believing it. No. Yes, but if you're good enough to get to the final, yes, you can. Because end of the day, people, the greats like Roger or all these guys, they have won dominated sports over a long time. Now, with my team, there's a very, they say don't jinx it. People don't even talk about it. Yeah. People don't even say, okay, we're going to win the final. They don't say, no, don't jinx it. Don't even say it.
Yeah.
Jinxing it. Oh my God, that's the worst attitude you can ever have. Yeah. In fact, talk about it every single day. Visualize it. Make sure that okay, so I'll show you a clip. When we went for the Gothia Cup in the World Cup, World Youth Cup, you'll see us walking out and the trophy is right there. I claimed the trophy. That was the last one. I held it, kissed it, and I walked past. I'm taking you home today.
Okay.
Simple.
That's a point to be noted.
Exactly. So before the match, and none of their team, their coaches walked past. They were just looking at it. And they were thinking, oh, I wish I could have it. I claimed it.
Yeah.
So that was then transported to the boys. In fact, the second division, we had a party right here in this house, and it was 4 days before the second division final. And everyone else was saying, oh my God, what are you doing? You've just, they should be all wanting to not let their hair down right now and focusing on it. But we were singing the champion song upstairs and dancing away the night because I made them believe that you've done it. No one can take this away from you. Now it's in our hands. Now you're not going to let this happen. That's why the champions t-shirt trophies it was already printed. So the moment the match ended, everyone was wearing it. Why? Because we believed it.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing I did when I won the I-League. So this is 2017-18 when there was no ISL. And the top teams like Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, Bangalore FC, they were all playing in the I-League. And we were a very small little club. On the last day, there were 23 different permutation combinations which could have happened.
Okay.
But we knew that if we win our match against Churchill, we would be the champions. Doesn't matter what Mohun Bagan does or East Bengal does. And they were the other two teams in contention for us winning the title. And if you look at the odds of us winning before the tournament started, was 1 to 550.
Yeah.
And we won it. Why? Because again, the moment the match ended, it doesn't matter if it's East Bengal and Mohun Bagan in your competition, Champions Trophy was always printed. So even then, right behind it, all my boys are wearing champions.
Yeah. Power. So I think everything that we are discussing here is just speaking and oozing with self-belief.
Yes.
So if you are able to, with energy, spread that belief out there to your kids, to your staff, where have you picked it up from yourself?
See, self-belief can only come with confidence in yourself. Confidence in yourself can only come with practice. Practice means training. No matter who you are, you can keep thinking you're the world's best, but you never go and practice. See, the only person in the world you can't lie to is yourself.
The man in the mirror. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And who's your biggest competition?
Again.
Who do you know the best? So you don't need to go outside your house to practice this skill set. You can't. If I say, okay, fine, I know I'll beat him, but I know I've not trained. I know I'm lying to myself, and that confidence will never be there. True confidence comes from believing in yourself when you put in the hard work. So success is when opportunity meets preparation. Okay, so preparation has to be there. So it's not just the mindset, but if you have preparation, no matter how much preparation you have, even if you have it 10 times the world champion, but the mindset is not there, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. And I think where a lot of us are actually going wrong is because athletes, usually wait for the outcome, usually wait for the approval of an external force for them to actually be like, oh, you know what, I'm actually good enough, I'm actually confident, I can do this. But in this case, this is not how it actually happens.
No.
We need to believe it from within.
Yes.
And then it kind of transfers into every sphere of our life.
Exactly. See, I truly believe that the stamp of approvals which we keep on looking for is horrible. Why? It's because when you actually care what other people think about you, you're living up to their standards. And you have to be better than what you were yesterday. You have to be able to tell yourself in the mirror that, yes, this is who I am, and this is what I've done, this is what I've achieved, and this is what I believe I can do. No matter what anyone tells you and how many times they tell you, it can be opposite, because people can keep telling you that you're never going to make it. So if that's the stamp of approval, if that never comes, that means you're never going to make it. No, that's the whole thing. All the world champions have had people telling them at some stage of their life, you're not going to make it. There's never been a world champion who's not seen that. But if they had taken that stamp of approval to be there all in all, they would have never made it.
Yeah, that's very right. And I think so many of them, because like we often discuss, what do you think is the role of talent when it comes to high performance, when it comes to creating world records? How much do you think talent plays a role here?
See, talent plays a role only to the fact that it gets you as one of the athletes. So I don't believe in talent. Why? Because if you're talented and I work harder than you, I'll beat you. If a talent is working for 4 hours a day and I'm working 8 hours a day, I'll beat talent. Hard work beats talent every day. That's why these sayings come up, because they're true. Otherwise, people won't have these sayings, because people will say, kya bakwas sayenge? So it's a proved thing over time. Okay. And I believe that once you're on the top level, and the higher you get, the skill level and talent, everyone will have it.
Yes.
Everybody has it. There's nobody who's got there without the skill level and talent, man. But if you're there, what will take you to the next level or make you stay there in the top level? It's not talent, it's not skill level, it's here again.
And I think it's a very important point here, that for athletes themselves, for parents, for coaches, to not really appreciate and constantly feed into that athlete or to that individual, to that child, oh, you know, you are talented, you know, you are gifted. Because again, this is something that leads to a fixed mindset.
Exactly. You need to be proving to yourself that you're talented. Someone telling you that is actually doing harm, because you get your confidence from results. See, I believe in two things, life, results and reasons don't count. Simple. And how do you get the results? By working hard. You don't land on laurels. You achieve them and you work hard for them. So where talent comes in, if you're told again and again that you're talented, it actually forces you to work less. Because people put you that in your mindset that, oh, you're good, man. You never tell anybody you're good. Let them, they'll know when they reach there, they're good. So no one needs to tell me I'm good. And it's not a boast, because why? Because it's the results which count. No one counts about, so all the titles I've won, there's always been a second place guy. No one knows him.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also one of the cons with the fixed mindset is that there's nothing much that you can do about it. So if I'm really talented, that's it. End of story.
Exactly.
So it's very vulnerable mindset, because agar aapka talent nahi chal raha, if somebody else is more talented than me, then what can I do about it? But when it comes to aspects of more growth mindset, which is how hardworking you are, you know, how resilient you are, what kind of mindset you have, these are the things, these are skills you can always constantly keep working on it. That's why, you know, when we constantly encourage somebody based on, you know, you're gifted, you're talented, you know, instead of making them more stronger, we're actually making them weak. Because on the weak days, they're going to be like, oh, I'm talented, but now what? That person is more talented than me. And I can't do anything to improve my talent, basically, right?
But what can you do to improve yourself? What are things you don't require to be rich? You don't require a certain kind of a house, a certain kind of a training to do what? Your attitude, your the amount of effort you put in. So you don't require talent for effort for talent, okay? Hard work, you don't require that. You don't require talent for hard work. Being there on time every single time. Doing the extra before and after every session. Being well prepared, being disciplined. These are things which are totally outside everything which is saying that, okay, fine, either I'm rich, I can't do it, or he's got those facilities and that's why he has them. No. These are things which are achievable by each and every single human being. And we've actually got a list of the 10 things, and the heading in this, and it's in every room in Minerva, that what you don't need to be. These are the 10 things we require, and you don't require talent for these.
Yeah.
And putting extra effort, being coachable. And what does being coachable means? Being coachable means that knowing that everyone can give something to you.
Yes.
And always being open, and not having a fixed mindset, like you said, and believing in stuff just because someone has told you and given you the idea. Always being wanting to say that, okay, fine, I can be wrong. And changing yourself every day. I think the best thing a person can have is the ability to say that I was wrong and then immediately act on it.
Yes.
Because otherwise, you're just feeding into that same cycle again and again. No matter what you keep doing, it'll keep coming back to the same thing.
Absolutely. And I think the point that you mentioned here is being coachable. This is a lot of performance psychologists have also constantly been speaking about it, because what happens is an athlete, very talented, very hardworking, gets to the top, okay? But when they get to the top, they're like, I'm the best, I know it, And then they start thinking beyond the coach. They're like, you know what, I just know it, I've got this. And when they lose that skill of being coachable, and that's when again they're getting into a very very fixed mindset, and फिर क्या होता है, फिर बहुत ज़्यादा ego के साथ साथ एक downfall आता है.
Exactly, because like I said, it's very easy getting there. And that's what happens to all the athletes who are 1 year or 2 season wonders.
Yes.
Because they get there, they think they're good enough. One season they play because they're good enough. Second season they think, okay, I'm good enough, so I don't need to do what I've been doing to get here. And then the second season they play because they were good the first season. The third season never comes. Then to get back there is very tough, because people have already seen, okay, we've seen that. We've seen what that ex-girl, boy, what athlete can do. So to make a comeback is much harder to make the first debut.
Yeah.
And that's why it's always imperative that you need to have the mindset. And that's why I really think Indians have a problem. Because even till now, I'm very happy, yes, we've gone really far ahead in what we were in training, in nutrition, in diet, in the best coaches, the best equipment. But everyone's forgot about this. The most important thing is this. And especially, I'm not talking about creating athletes. I'm talking about creating champions. Okay, you can create athletes. You give me the best infrastructure, the best diet, nutrition. I'll give you top level athletes. But how many world champions will I give you? But if you give me all that along with somebody who can work on this. So when India won all the World Cups in everything, you can ask Abhinav Bindra, you can ask Neeraj Chopra, you can ask the hockey teams who've just done really well. By the way, the 2007 Indian Cricket World Cup winning team. So they had great sports psychologists traveling with them at that time. And those guys, suppose you tell me that Tendulkar at that time needed a guy to tell him that he's the best in the world. No, he wanted it. He wanted to take his performance to the next level. See, athletes are champions when they perform in the biggest of matches.
Yeah.
And that can only happen when you don't feel pressure. One way of doing that is if you've done it 100 times. But if you've done it 100 times in a wrong way, you'll never succeed.
Yeah.
Whereas there are people who they can just switch off and switch on.
Yeah.
That's what, when keep on saying switch on, switch off. You can get into then they call yourself getting into the zone.
Yes.
If you're in the zone, it doesn't matter what people are talking from outside, what came out in social media yesterday. You can only focus if it's cricket, the ball being released from that hand. That's the only thing you care about. In football, it can be 1 million people or 100,000 people just cheering, but you don't hear them. You are only looking at the ball. And that comes with being able to control your mind to such an extent. And you can't just do it. So you can't say, okay, fine, I'll get experience and do it. Because a normal athlete, how many finals will you play? And you will only play more finals if you win the last finals. So thinking that I'll do it being that level with experience is not going to happen. Absolutely. That is why training your mind is the most important thing. In fact, from the lowest levels of training, I'm not talking about, it's too late already if you're an elite athlete is doing it. This is a must from grassroots level. Because when you're training your mind, it's not only for sports, it's for life. The same mind is going to make you do things to succeed in life.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're learning a skill set in sports, it's only for the sports. You'll only use it there.
Yeah.
This you'll use every single second when you're alive.
Absolutely. Beautiful. And also, I think when Sir mentioned flow, right? When you said being in the zone, I think all of us at one point or the other have experienced what it feels like, but we completely leave it to, it just happens to me. There's nothing called it just happens to me. This is a skill. Being in zone, being in flow state, super fluidity, this is a skill that you can learn because you are so deep in your subconscious mind. That is where flow comes in from. And this is skill. When you learn and when you teach your mind to be more and more controlled and in sync with your subconscious mind, what happens? You lose track of your surroundings. So being in flow is completely super immersed in the process of whatever you're doing, and it doesn't really matter what anybody else is saying. For if I'm in zone right now, I will not see anybody around me. It's like everything is at a halt. And also when it comes to Olympic champions and people who won the medal, they constantly say, that's a pattern that you'll always hear, they say, हमें कुछ पता नहीं चल रहा था हमारे आसपास क्या हो रहा है. We were not even hearing what the commentators were saying, what my mother was saying, what my coach was saying. I was just here, fully immersed. Fully immersed is also being lost in this moment. And that's it. That is what flow is. And that is where records are broken. That is where the best performance comes in. Not just in sport.
Being lost in the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the nail on the head on the, see, understand. When you said lost in the moment doesn't mean being lost.
Yeah.
It actually means
super
being
immersed.
Yes. See, we as humans believe, especially this generation or the generation before us, that, oh my God, because we are so educated and technology is there, this is the best generation ever. And the next generation thinks that we are the best generation. And the next, not learning with experience of 5,000 or 10,000 years of human history.
Yeah.
What does human history tell us? We've had people like the Buddhist monks who can go into a trance and zone, and you can set them on fire and they will not move an inch. Do you really think that is possible? Imagine if an athlete can control that pain. Because your only competition is you. You have to be better than what you were yesterday. So when they keep saying, okay, I want to be the fastest man in the world. So I say, okay, fine. What is your timing? That's Usain Bolt, 9.58, 100 meters. So he says, I'm 12 seconds. I said, very good. And that's a 14-year-old boy. So I said, what will you beat tomorrow? 12 or 9.58? He says, 12. I say, 11.99? He says, yes. I say, if you beat yourself every single day, one day you will beat Usain Bolt. You have to be better than what you were yesterday, even to be a world champion. As simple as that.
Absolutely.
And if you are able to get into the zone of forgetting about whatever is happening outside and focusing only on yourself, and not even on the opponent, on just yourself and what you are doing. And that's why they say in sports, keep it super simple. Yes, keep it super simple. Because the toughest thing to do is to keep it super simple at the most pressure times. That's when you make the most basic of mistakes.
Absolutely. And one of the most simplest way to actually just talk about flow is, again, your mind is divided into two parts, your conscious, subconscious mind. The more your conscious mind is active, उतनी ज़्यादा आपकी performance नीचे और नीचे जाएगी. It's very debilitative towards your performance. Conscious mind is, मुझे अब ये skill ऐसे करना है, मुझे bat ऐसे रखना है, मुझे ball को यहाँ मारना है, मुझे ये करना है. When the more you're thinking, that's the role of your conscious mind. जितना आप सोच रहे हो.
So I want to step in here and tell you, she's so right. Okay, and I'll tell you. So this is so refreshing.
No.
Well done. No, this is so refreshing talking to you about this. Okay, because I keep banging my head on the walls here because to explain people that there's nothing known as decision making, man. When they keep talking about, oh my God, the decision making of Messi is so beautiful, he can see the pass out. No, it's not decision making at all. You think he actually has time to receive the ball and think, oh, that is the correct pass to give. No, it's all automatic because he's in that zone. Okay, so there's no decision making when a ball is coming to you, cricket ball is coming to you at 200 kilometers an hour, and you don't be, okay, this ball, oh, there's the fielder gap, I'm going to play it right there. That doesn't happen. It's all automatic. So the ones who actually think about it, they're the ones who get out because your brain is not as fast as a 200-kilometer ball. What is your brain faster than that? Your natural twitch responses. So myelin comes in, muscle memory comes in. You're being in just the zone and taking decisions which are all automatic to you without worrying about external factors.
Absolutely.
Comes in.
100%. And that's what it is. Your subconscious mind is the feeling mind. It's the reservoir of all the memories, all the practices, everything is stored right there. So when you use your thoughts, your conscious mind comes in and you are going to screw up. It's like performance is going down. But when you completely get lost, you're like, you know what? I'm just going to be here. I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to be in this moment. That's where your conscious mind is bye-bye and your subconscious mind comes in. World records, these constant centuries, all of these are created by your subconscious mind. So one of the simplest thing that we do with cricketers is, for example, the batsman is there and the ball is coming at a very, very fast speed, right? But what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to say in their mind, the trigger words that we use is, it's ready when they're ready. And the moment they hit the ball, they'll say hit. And when the follow through is over, they'll say stop. Now imagine, like, initially when I tell this to athletes, they're like, "Arey, ma'am, ball muh pe lagega, ye hoga." And I'm like, just try. But when they go there and try, now the mind is only using trigger words that is in the subconscious mind and there's no thoughts. And they're absolutely safe. The ball has not hit anywhere because you have practiced for these 7-8 years. So obviously the ball is not going to come here. You are only going to get hurt when you're using your mind, and that's going to slow your responses. So as long as you completely surrender to your subconscious zone, you believe in yourself and the practice, your game is completely sorted.
And how do you do that? By practicing that. So when people keep talking about warming up, like we were talking before this, and I heard that you've got athletes warming up their minds before going onto the field. That's brilliant, because that is the decision, that is the muscle which is going to make the difference in the match. See, if you're playing a match at a high level, all the athletes playing against you are at a high skill level, high endurance level, high VO2 max, high athleticism, everything is high. Motivation is high as well. They're also well motivated. Why aren't they well motivated? What makes the difference is this: how switched on you are in your brain and how warmed up it is right from the very beginning to make the right decisions.
Absolutely.
And right decisions are not decisions. It's automatic.
Yes. And also one thing is, it's so many of us are so constantly stuck on how we feel, like how we think, it's like, I'm thinking like this, but we're not focusing on the feeling, and feeling is the language of subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind understands in feeling. That's where when we say, okay, practice affirmation, we say, I am confident 100,000 times. But if it's not creating that feeling inside of us, it's not going to work. Whereas if you just say, I am confident 5 times, and when you feel that shift and you're like, oh, I feel confident, that's it. Your subconscious mind is activated then.
Taken over. Yep.
So before your matches, if you can just mentally prepare, before not just matches, before every practice session, go in with an intention. Okay, how do I want to feel in this session? How do I want to feel? I want to feel empowered. I want to feel at my best. I want to feel that I'm doing my best. And that's it. That is the feeling that you have to switch on, and then you have to go and play. And then you'll see your body is only going to be start coming at the level that you have set it on.
And these are habits being formed. See, you get into the mindset, the zone. So when people say you should hear pump up songs, what does that do? That gets you into the zone.
Yes.
Or different people have different pump up songs. Some people like to hear calm meditative sounds before going in. Some people like to hear heavy metal. Some people like to hear hip hop. Depends on what gets you into that zone.
Exactly.
Of feeling what? Feeling confident and empowered, and feeling that, okay, fine, I belong here and I'm going to do well. And if you don't do that, like you said, in practice, you can't just say, okay, I'll do it one day before the match or on the match day and I'll be able to get into the zone. No, this is a daily process, because you have to be, like you're training your body, you're training your mind. Absolutely. To be able to be switched on and switched off.
Absolutely. Right. And I think it's also very important to understand our own arousal level, our optimal arousal level. Like when you said so, some people perform really well when listening to hip hop, EDMs, when pumped up music, Punjabi. And then there's some people, their mind will completely become chaotic when they listen to these songs. They need to listen to more meditative song. That means they perform best when the arousal level is low, when they're more calmer. And whereas other people need that kind of a pump. So that's why don't just listen to something and just start applying in your life.
Exactly.
Understand yourself. Okay, what was my best performance so far? And what was my state of mind like before it? So there are few athletes, who will say that, when I am just talking to my friends, I'm in a very chill zone, I just play my best there. And then there are other athletes who like, meko bas apne andar rehna pasand hai. If I talk to people, then I screw up my game.
Exactly. See, because the guy who's talking to his friends is not using his conscious mind before the game. He's already switched off. He's saying, okay, fine, I'm going to go with the flow. So going with the flow means I'm not going to be thinking about what's happening outside. If it's a final match, how many runs we need under this many hours, or how many goals we need to score in this much time. If it's the final of a World Cup, he is just having fun. So that's why some team talks actually say, okay, guys, go have fun, play the best game of your life, just go have fun. When they say go have fun, they're trying to take the pressure off your mind.
Yes.
So when you're going and talking with your friends and chilling, it has a kind of a very meditative effect on your brain, because you aren't talking about the thing you're just going to face.
Yes.
That is why warriors, before the war, they laugh a lot, they joke a lot, because if they don't and they actually start thinking about that, they'll be debilitated. They won't be able to actually go and fight.
Yes.
That's why they never even talk about war. They talk about everything else under the sun, because this is normal way of life, and you're going to go in there and do your job, what you've been doing in practice every day, because in practice, that's what you do. You joke around with friends and you go practice. Wow, perfectly fine.
Yes.
But on match day, you go and change that to actually thinking, okay, I'm going to go for the match. What will happen now? I wish I do well.
Yeah, 100%. It just reminds me of this Usain Bolt little documentary that was out there. And even when we know about Usain Bolt, we see, how he's so light, so funny, especially with the cameras as well, when it comes to Olympics game. And then these were these cameramen who went to his practice days. And practice days, they were waiting for 4 hours, and Usain was just practicing. He didn't even look at them. He didn't even know they were there. He was in a flow zone in his normal average practice day. And that's when they knew, oh, so basically the champions, they practice like it's the Olympics, and then they compete like it's an everyday practice.
So Abhinav Bindra has it outside his office.
Yeah.
And it says, and I've got an actual photo with it, the Olympics is every day.
Yes.
It's not once every 4 years, it's every single day. It culminates every 4 years, but you're training for it every single day.
100%. And I think champion, it's not born differently, that's agreed upon. There is absolutely no role of genetics, nature. No. It's the constant everyday nurturing that plays the dominant role. So like one of the last things that we'll discuss is, what do you think are the 3 most important traits if somebody wants to become a champion, if somebody is aiming for that big life when it comes to high performance and sports? Okay, so first of all, you got to start with the first factor, which is your self-mind control. When I say mind control, everything comes with that. That means if you're going to be disciplined, it has to be because you're strong enough in your mind. When I say discipline, means that, okay, I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I have to be there at 4:15, not even 1 minute late. That comes with, again, having a strong mind, because your body loses to your mind every single day. When you overeat, when you oversleep, when you know that you're not supposed to be having these chips, or if you smoke, you're going to get cancer. Because that's what is your mind, your body losing to your mind. If you are good enough and you're able to control this, that is the beginning of a champion. Because you've got to be in the mindset, and only if you know you can control your eating the cravings, and I can't have this cake because I'm going to do this, I can't have this, I can't have this, then it's not that you have to keep fighting this for the rest of your life. It becomes a habit. Once it becomes a habit, that's when you know your mind is part of a natural process. So it's like creating a muscle memory for your brain, and not your muscle. And this is the most important muscle. Yeah, and that's where we actually go deep into saying create cellular memory, which is way beneath the muscle memory.
Yes.
And that is what happens with every thought, every feeling that you have. And so nowadays we observe there's a very dominant role always the parents have been playing, but now they're also getting very involved with the sports. So if any parent out there is listening to you, what would you want to tell them when it comes to a little bit changing in the attitude with the athletes?
I would say stop coddling them and leave them alone. Don't have any expectations from them. Don't put any pressures on them. Let them go and enjoy the game. If they get good, they will know they're good, and they will never leave that sport. Suppose a kid is good in something and he's excelling in it, a kid will never leave it himself. So don't force them into something which they don't want to do. But make them love stuff. And that will only come when you don't put outside external pressures on them. And if they are able, you see that they're able to do well and they're doing well, the best you can do is make sure that they get the best surrounding environment for that. So your job as a parent is to make sure he gets proper food, Your job as a parent is to make sure he gets a proper mind coach, a proper coach, a proper place to, infrastructure means football field, athletics, whatever, man.
Okay. And so what about the pressure that not always consciously, but unconsciously, the parents is kind of, giving the athlete,
That's the first thing I said.
Yeah.
You've got to let them go. You've got to even stop coddling them when they win medals or don't win medals. It's even when they're winning medals, you cannot take them to their pedestal because it's a child's medal. I mean, they've done well. But if you think you keep on telling them every day that you're talented, it's going to make a difference. It's not. In fact, it's going to be detrimental for the kid.
Yes.
The kid will realize himself when he's talented, when he's won 100 gold medals.
So having a very, very firm process orientation approach, which is getting better every day, not on an outcome, you have to win this. If you don't win this, then this is going to happen.
Yep.
Let's not reinforce our kids and the athletes towards the outcome. Let's get them into a very pure process orientation.
Your competition is only you. That's the only person you have to be better than. Forget everybody else. Forget the whole world. Be better than what you were yesterday. And if your kid can do that on a daily basis, he'll be a world champion.
100%. And the last thing that I would want to just ask you is, if there is this one athlete, anyone out there, who's just listening to you, what is that one message that you would want to tell them? And one message that is like, okay, you know what? I'm done listening to this podcast. I just have to go out there and live my dream. What would be that one thing?
I would say believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Do not listen to anyone. In fact, the haters will always be there. But the more you listen to them, the more you don't listen to yourself. Your only competition is you. Beat yourself. The only person you can't lie to is you. So always trust yourself.
And to wrap up, we'll just say one thing. Feed yourself on faith and not fears, because so many of us unconsciously are constantly feeding ourselves with fear. So if there is this one mindset you can have is, every thought that you have needs to be backed by faith, and faith in yourself, faith in the source, and that is what is going to take you places. Because if there's one thing a champion has is pure faith. They don't do anything without faith. And even if that is faith in your team, you can only see champions when it comes to longevity who have complete faith, surrender to the team, whatever the coaches are saying, whatever the managers are saying. And when we constantly get into this habit of doubting, that's where we're feeding on fear. And fear is very inversely proportional when it comes to peak and high performance. So thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
And both of us, I think, were very much in the flow zone here.
Exactly. We were. We didn't even know how the time just flew by.
Okay. Thank you so much.